All right, it's Thursday, October 2nd, 2025 at about 4:15 p.m. I'm just departing the Britton Peak Trailhead, headed northbound on the Superior Hiking Trail. Let's go. And typical Superior Hiking Trail fashion, right out of the parking lot, there's this spur trail up to Britton Peak, and we're just bombing it right up the hill. A lot of really nice stairs though. And like usual on the Superior Hiking Trail, steep sections of trail usually lead you to some cool overlooks, just like that one. So that was Britton Peak right there. That was a spur trail, literally, I don't know, like a 1/10 of a mile out of the trailhead. So that one was very little buck, plenty of bang. So what we're doing this weekend is a 4-day 3-night trip. Like I was saying, we started at Britton Peak Trailhead, going northbound on the Superior Hiking Trail, and I'm gonna do an out and back. Hope to make it as far as Cascade River State Park, where at some point I'll turn around. Basically, I don't think I'm going to go any farther than wherever I camp tomorrow night. That way I can feel pretty confident that I'll get back to my car in a reasonable amount of time. Well, it appears that we have hit peak fall color pretty much perfectly. Wow. Look at that. Just awesome. A couple other notes about this trip. This one I'm doing solo, and I'm gonna do a kind of a fast pack style trip, and hey buddy, what's going on? And kind of similar to a trip I did last year. That one I tried to fast pack as well, but it was really more hike as fast as you can, more so than a whole lot of jogging. Yeah. the trail surface, especially south here, is just, I mean, it's like runnable, but you know, when you have a, whatever it was, 25-pound pack, that was just really too hard. So far, this is pretty doable. We'll see how it goes. How about some dinner here at Cedar Overlook? On the way in, I stopped at Jimmy John's in Duluth, grabbed me number 5 sub, so thank you Jimmy John's for being freaky fast. Alright, we're back on the trail. Last night I got into camp at about 5:45 or so. So no night hiking this time, which is nice. Stayed at the, I think it's called the East Leveaux campsite. Not totally sure on the pronunciation. It looked kind of like a French word, which can be kind of hard. This morning, left camp at about 6:30. I don't know, I've been hiking probably 15 minutes or so and got to this really cool spot in the forest. The fall colors are really popping here, that's for sure. Yes, we're up here on Leveaux Overlook. This is just right out of camp, basically. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure we camped next to that pond right there. Pretty sure. Yeah, that was a nice little camp. There's actually 2 different campsites on that pond. One of them is just really like a single tent site, and the other one has multiple. I shared the one with multiple sites with a couple people, one single or a guy by himself, and then a couple. So it's fun to talk to them. Unfortunately, wow, look at that. Fortunately, right about the time when we were kind of settling in, the one guy even started the campfire, then it started raining. So everybody kind of retreated back into their tents. You know, waking up early and getting packed up in the dark, it's kind of no fun, but I don't know if there's anything that beats hiking during sunrise. Like, seriously, what beats that? I mean, come on. Anyway, so I had a pretty good first day on trail. Only saw, I don't know, yeah, I think, I only saw one hiker, and he's working on through hiking the whole trail southbound, so good luck to him for sure. That would definitely be a really fun thing to do in the future at some point, but I think first I'd kind of rather just section hike the whole thing. I was kind of trying to do the math in my head, and I feel like it would probably take me probably like 2.5 weeks to do, so that'd be like a lot of time off of work. That'd be like a major vacation kind of thing. So, but who knows? Maybe in the future I'll do that. Yeah, so like I was saying, I only got like 4 miles in yesterday, so I'm planning on the way out doing like all the overlooks and all the extra spur trails and stuff, and then I'm only going to go basically as far as wherever I camp tonight. That way I know for sure I'll be able to make it back to the car. So what that means for today is, like, if I'm gonna meet my goal, that kind of means I'm gonna have to do like a marathon's worth of distance. So we will see. Definitely so far the trail's been not super technical, you know, if I was gonna be running and stuff, so that definitely helps. Another strategy I might try is just, if I'm, you know, pretty close but just don't want to go quite that full distance, I was thinking maybe like in the morning tomorrow, maybe just regular trail run, you know, the last little bit without my pack. You know, once I have everything packed up, and maybe do it that way. So we'll see how it goes. Through. All right, we're here up at Leveaux Mountain. We're gonna do the whole scenic loop, and this is where I'm gonna make my coffee. Not a bad spot for that. And I would say Leveaux Mountain probably past peak at this point. Wow. Still looks great though.
Over there. My friend the Gruffalo.
You okay?
You know, low-key challenge of this hike is Man, it's really hard to get a lot of miles in. It's just so cool. It's almost kind of distracting, but I'll take it. So I think there's some trumpeter swans down in that pond. Let's try to zoom in on those. Let's see. I don't know. They're right in the middle of the screen there, those two white dots. I can only assume that's what they are. Alright, let's move on. Another overlook here, a little bit closer to the swan pond. Let's zoom in again here. There we go. That one you kind of get a profile view of. All right, let's go. All the fall color. Never gets old. Okay, that's good enough. Whew. Oh, all kinds of boulders in here. Yikes. There we go. There's some more. right. Well, that was a refreshing little pit stop. That was the Poplar River. Had to do some bonus miles off trail to get there. The trail, where the trail crosses, there's a bridge and like some pretty crazy rapids. It didn't look safe to like get down to the river there at all. So, but there's this ATV trail that went along the river a little ways, and a little spur trail down to that pier. So that worked out really well because really wanted to rinse off and really needed to fill up my water. So, all right, let's go back on the trail. Some switchbacks. That's nice to see every once in a while. Usually out here we frickin' bomb it up and down hills, but a couple switchbacks there, nice. So, not going to be any water sources for probably 3 miles or so, don't really need any yet, but I'm going to pick some up and pick some up right now and filter it later for sure, because I just don't really want to run out. It's no fun. We're out here to have fun. Running out of water is not fun. There we go. Wow. Look at that. Really awesome. Wow. Holy crap. All right, little check-in slash update. I'm on about mile 17 and a half on the day, and I decided that I'm going to stay at Spruce Creek campsite. It's another like 2.5 miles, so that'll put me at around like 20 miles for the day. Not really including any like bonus mileage, just based on my route I had set. So definitely a little bit short of my goal. I think I was hoping to get about 6 more miles than that, but that's just not going to happen. I think it's like, what time is it, like 3:30 or so, and one of my goals for this trip was to not do any night hiking. Just not gonna do it. Ooh, that was a little wet. Hang on, let's see this. Go around this downfall here. I don't know, I'd go underneath, but I don't really want to bend down right now. It's too late in the day for that, man. Ugh. I think on the way back I can handle ducking underneath that, but that's for tomorrow, not today. So, anyway, like I was saying, a little bit short of the goal. I'm trying to decide if I want to get a couple more miles farther tomorrow morning, maybe just like do a quick like normal trail run without my gear, get a little bit more in. I don't know, I kind of got to see if it would be nice to get as far as the trailhead, because then the next time I come up here and do another section, then I can just like normal start from the trailhead and be a little bit more straightforward, and having to basically backtrack all the way to where I can't. So we'll see. I'll have to look at the maps and see how that goes. But anyway, that's the plan. I'm actually feeling pretty good right now. I mean, a little bit tired, but not too bad. This is kind of squishy right here, guys. Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, feel pretty good. Maybe just the slightest bit tired. And I had the hardest time staying hydrated today. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I always kind of struggle with that, but I didn't really ever like hardcore run out of water, so that's good. And then kind of in this last third or so, man, I kind of dinged up my left knee a little bit. Kind of 2 different times where it was like my left foot planted on something that wasn't suitable and like twisted weird, and never really hurt when it happened, but every once in a while it'll be like a little sore. So that's another reason, like I could try to push farther this afternoon. I definitely have done plenty of running or jogging today. I wouldn't call what I was doing running. It was definitely only jogging. But kind of this last like hour or so, I kind of decided, you know what, I'm just gonna quick hike it. Kind of because of that too, like my knees just feeling like a little weird, and there's no point in pushing it. I gotta make it all the way back to the car in a reasonable amount of time and basically go back the way I came. So I just don't want to overdo it. But yeah, that's the update. Probably check in at camp. Now, hopefully this is Spruce Creek, because if it is, it means I'm almost to camp. Woo! I am totally ready to be done. I am starving. Yeah. Hopefully there's room for me here. No way. This is an awesome site. There's not any... Can't believe there's nobody here. It's kind of this cool little bowl amongst the cedars on Spruce Creek. Fuck yeah. Fire pit. Uber convenient, high quality water source. What else could we want, right? Oh yeah. How about dinner? about 8:30 on day 3, and I'm leaving camp at Spruce Creek. That was a really nice campsite. A lot of different places to pick from as to where to put a tent. Super convenient water source. Very nice, very nice. So yesterday I got in probably about 4:45, and actually I did about 21 miles yesterday. There's a sign there. So today I'm heading on back to the car. Well, I won't get there today, but I'm moving back in that direction. So Spruce Creek here is as far as I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna head back pretty much the same way I came. My route back's gonna be a little bit shorter probably, because I likely won't do as many bonus miles with the different overlooks for trails and stuff. Especially not planning on going up the Oberg Mountain Loop or the Leveaux overlook again. Those were just so awesome that it'd be hard to beat what I already saw. So anyway, the plan today is to camp at the Onion River campsite. And to do that, probably have to do about 16 miles of hiking or so. So that's the plan. Here we go. So, as I was hiking this morning, I was kind of thinking about all the different gear changes I made between now and last year when I was up here. So, I thought one of the things I'd do today as I'm hiking is kind of list them off just for fun. So the first one is switching out my water filter. So last year I was using the Catadine Be Free, and that one was a good filter. It was really convenient because it was compatible with my soft flasks, but those things just don't last very long. They clog up really easy. and there's no way that I'm aware of that you can like back flush them. So it's kind of annoying. Like it seemed you could start a trip with one that was in like perfect condition, and by the end, all of a sudden, you know, by the time the trip was over, like you could barely get any flow out of it. So decided to switch to the Platypus Quick Draw, and that one's almost as fast, and you can back flush it. It's also nice for using if you think it might get below freezing overnight, because you can cap both ends and just throw it in your sleeping bag with you and not worry about it dripping water all over. So I'm pretty happy with that change. Here we got a nice little view of Lake Agnes. Kind of got the sun right in our face, unfortunately, but that's okay. Ooh, nice try. All right. So the second piece of gear that I wanted to mention was my shoes. Basically, 2 years ago, I was using Ultras, either Campiste or Lone Peaks, and while I really liked those shoes, man, the durability on them I didn't think was very good. Like, especially the soles seemed to wear out way too fast. So last year I switched to the Topo Athletic Pursuits, and really like that shoe too, but this really weird thing where on really long efforts would start bothering the outside of my big toe, and a couple times I'd get blisters, so that was kind of annoying. So this past year I switched to the Topo Athletic Mountain Racers, and I really like them. Here. That's what they look like. Unfortunately though, went to go look for replacements on them, because the ones I have, I got 2 pair and they're starting to both be getting close to the end of their life. The new version that came out in 2025, I don't really love how they fit me. I can't even really pinpoint it. They might be a little narrower or something, I don't know. And then also they switched them to more traditional pie system, which on these ones I have right now, that's literally like my favorite part of the shoe. I don't know, let's see. You can kind of see, this is how those lace up now. Not so much just slots in the shoe, but actual loops, and it makes it way easier to tighten and loosen than a more traditional style, which is just, yeah, like slots. So I thought I'd found the shoe, but now they've changed it. So this year I kind of punted on that decision and went and bought 2 more pair of the old version, which luckily were still available. And bonus, with those being the old model, instead of like $150, I think they were more like 105, 110. So got a pretty good discount on those, but gosh darn, I'm gonna have to have a whole new shoe saga start all over again after I found something I really like. So that's a little frustrating, but what are you gonna do, right? Oh, look. Little overlook here. Here we go. Here we go. Woo! Man, it is just a little bit hazy. Look at that. Look at that though. That's still pretty awesome, huh? Ooh, Cliffy. Don't want to get too close. Here we're at this overlook again. I'm not sure what this one's called, but I remember this one from yesterday. It was pretty cool. So here we are again. Very nice. Anyway, the almost dropped my trekking poles. The third piece of gear I kind of wanted to talk about was I changed up some things on my cook kit. Basically, well, the biggest thing is I changed the pot stand windscreen setup, which basically allowed me to go with a little bit smaller pot, which is kind of nice. Really not like the biggest deal, but it was something I kind of wanted to see if I could do. So basically, my stove is the same. I used the same DIY beer can stove, and previously the windscreen pot stand was kind of all in one. It was 4 pieces of kind of titanium with holes in them for walls, and then they had each had 2 holes through them for little pieces of round bar, which should act as the stand. And that worked pretty good, but it just never really fit that well in my 650 milliliter pot to begin with. So then what I switched out instead, there's people coming, that's kind of awkward, right? Anyway, so I switched that out for a really thin kind of sort of titanium coiled up piece of sheet metal, and that would be only the windscreen. And then for the pot stand, I kind of got this kind of 2-piece cross shaped pot stand. Basically each piece has a slot in the middle and they kind of slide over the top of each other, and then I just set that right on top of the stove. Now it's not like 100% ideal, like it's a little tippy if you don't position it quite right, but I think it'll work. Yeah, that titanium sheet windscreen I was able to trim to make it fit in the 550 milliliter pot, and I mean it's so thin I was easily able to trim it with a pair of scissors. So pretty happy with that. I feel like pros of that, besides being able to go with a smaller cook pot, is I think it's probably more efficient on fuel. Cons, I haven't quite figured out the best way to douse the fire when I'm done with it. I know with alcohol stoves a lot of people just kind of let it burn out on its own, but I feel like it's more efficient to just kill it when you're done. Save on fuel. So with the other one, I could just take the pot off, move the stand and the windscreen off of the stove, and then stick the pot back right on the stove and blow on it like pretty lightly, and it would just go right out. This one with that cross thing, it's too hot to remove while the flame is going. So I don't know. I'll have to figure that one out, but so far I'm pretty happy with that one too. Here we go. That's a nice view, huh? Awesome. Wait a minute. Switchbacks. Superior hiking trail. That is so unlike you. Look at that. There are switchbacks. Woo! Alright, so on my way back here, I elected to bypass the Mystery Mountain part of the Superior Hiking Trail in favor of this little shortcut. It's a mountain biking trail, although so far I've seen like tons of day hikers on it, so they must allow both. And yeah, something a little different. To be a real fun thing to trail around, actually. But anyway, it's the I think it's called the High Climber Trail. So, hey buddy. So I think this is going to end up being a pretty good shortcut. Save a little bit of time. Mystery Mountain was pretty cool, but I think I'm okay with bypassing that this time since I saw it yesterday already, so that's what we're doing. One kind of side note, not so much related to gear, but strategy, like coming out here this time of the year, I would definitely recommend doing this trail northbound. Once you get, kind of into the fall, the sun is just doesn't get very high in the sky. So if you're going southbound, honestly, like most of the day you kind of got the sun in your face, which kind of gets to be a little bit much. So definitely pro tip, just go northbound. It'll be much more fun. I mean, like yesterday, I barely noticed it at all. I mean, there's some points where you're doing switchbacks or whatever, the trail's doubling back on itself. And I had the sun in my face, but I was like, pretty infrequently. I didn't even really think about it. Now today, man, I put sunscreen on my nose, but even still, I'm a little worried about how much sun exposure I'm getting there, especially being here past peak. Even in the woods, there's actually not a ton of shade, so definitely in the fall, I really think hiking northbound is probably the best. All right. Doing the big hill at Lutzen. Whew, that one's a doozy. As long as I'm going slow and doing that. I figured I'd talk about thing number 3 that I switched out. And that is, not thing number 3, thing number 4. That is my tent. I was using an REI Flash Air 2. And I don't know, that tent, I'm happy I have that tent for times if there needs to be somebody in the tent with me, that kind of thing. Like if me and my son go on a trip or something, we just share a tent, that kind of thing. That tent's a good, pretty decent weight and whatever, packs down pretty decent. But man, I've had that tent for several years and I still struggle getting that thing pitched decent. So it seems like when I do solo trips, I don't know, is it worth all the messing around? So anyway, switch that one out. Oh, hello. Whoa, totally lost my train of thought. What tent do I have right now? Dang it. Switch that thing out for the 6 Moon design, 6 Moons design, the 6 Moon Designs Lunar Solo. don't know why that was so hard to say. And I really like that tent. Oh well. So, almost to the top, I think. So like I was saying, what I really like about the Lunar Solo is that you only need one trekking pole to pitch it, although you can use two if you want. I actually been using the other trekking pole to guy out the center guy out point on the head end, just to kind of give me a little bit more height there. You don't really have to do it. So I feel like gives you a little bit more options if you want to set up a base camp and do some day hikes from there. At least you still could have a trekking pole on your hikes without having to take down your tent just about. Also, it's way easier to pitch, which is not that hard to do compared to that REI tent. And then thirdly, I like the material it's made out of better. It's way less noisy against sleeping pads, it seems. So that's awesome. So yeah, really happy with that upgrade. All right, just filled up with water at Rollins Creek. Oh, look at that, the sun is in my face again. Here, let's flip this. There we go. Doing good on time. It's about 4:15. Got about 2 miles to go before we get to Onion River campsite. So looking pretty good. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Anyway, so what am I up to? Fifth thing I switched out. And this one's great because literally cost no money. And that is trekking poles. I removed the straps. Finally did it. And honestly, I get why the straps are there. It's definitely more ergonomic using them with the straps, but I found they were just kind of a pain. They were they were just way less like flexible as to how I could use them, and using them or alternating between using them and not using them, and having to mess with putting the straps around my wrists. And for what I use them for, it's just wasn't worth it. So same trekking poles, just took the straps off. Done. Very happy to be in the shadow of Oberg Mountain. Finally out of the sun. Woo! Kind of making our way around the mountain now. We're out of the shadow. Back in the sun. That's okay, probably a mile or less to camp, I imagine. But anyway, one more gear thing is my quilt. So originally I got a 20-degree enlightened equipment, what do they call it? Convert Apex. So it's like it basically has a zipper all the way down it, but you can also use it as a quilt. So you can do it either quilt mode or sleeping bag mode. It's synthetic, and I don't remember what thickness shell I got, but it doesn't really matter. So it's a 20-degree bag. So the thing with that is, like, there's definitely times when I need a sleeping bag that's gonna keep me warm like that, but actually not most of the time. So, you know, I tried, you know, just leaving it open, not being like fully underneath it. But the problem is when you're camping and lows only get down to like the upper 60s and it's like super humid out, a thing like the shell would just stick to my skin because of all the moisture, and I'd still get tangled in it. And it's like, well, why the heck do I have a quilt? That's really just going to happen, you know. So it just, I think it was a good quilt to buy to begin with. It's definitely usable, you know, with a larger range of temperatures, but it just wasn't super comfortable to use when it was warm out. So instead, what I got is what is the quilt called that I got? Totally blanking. Hang on, I'll be back. Now, I kind of feel silly. I don't think I'm going to think of who makes it, but I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, so it's a 40-degree bag. A down-filled bag, and, or not sleeping bag, it's actually a quilt. Can you tell it's getting to the end of the day? Losing my mind. Anyway, 40-degree quilt, down-filled, so it's nice and light. It's like more appropriate temperature rating for when I normally go camping. Packs down really nice. I really just really like it. So the only downside, though, I noticed when it gets even a little damp, it really kind of smells bad. That was from like the first time I used it even, so maybe that's a thing with down stuff. I don't know. Anyway, so the great thing too, having both those quilts, is if I ever want to go camping, say like sub, 25 degrees or something, just bring both and layer them, especially because the first one I got, that enlightened equipment quilt, I got it maybe a touch bigger than what I needed to, so I think it'll work really great. I try to use it to layer, so if I ever do that, maybe I'll make a video about it. We'll see. So anyway, almost to camp. It's day 4 of the trip, last day. Got about 5 miles left back to the car. Thought I'd stop here and get this nice little shot of this pond. It's the first sunlight I've seen so far this morning. Kind of been in shadow the whole time, but Yeah, I left camp at 7 this morning, so I think that's a pretty decent time. Last night, or yesterday, ended up doing like 16 miles. Got into camp right at 5, so seems like for trips like this time of year, 5 seems to be about right. It's just enough time to make some dinner, get camp set up, get settled. So I think that might be my goal for these types of trips from now on. There's like a swan down there, and I finally got it in focus, and now I can't see it. Is there another one maybe? To recap the trip, I ended up doing about 45 miles total over the course of 4 days, but really most of it was done in the second and third day. First and last day, they got to be short days because I got a 7-hour drive to get here. So the weather was very, very mild. Man, it must have been getting into the 70s just about during the day, and probably, I don't know, I didn't actually forgot to turn my thermometer on, but based on how it felt, probably mid 50s at night at the coldest, I would say. There's literally like never a chill in the air. So, and that was nice, but I would have preferred it to be about 10 degrees colder, but you can't have it all, I guess. Had a lot of fun, of course. How could you not out here this time of year? I would say all the campsites were pretty nice. Onion River, for some reason, I thought was going to be bigger, but it worked fine. Definitely my favorite site was that Spruce Creek site. That second camp I had, I really liked that one. That was funny though, because that was the only one that I didn't have to share, which really kind of surprised that I was the only one there that night. So at least today I'm up early enough. The sun won't be in my eyes the whole time. So just kind of, as I'm hiking, thinking about what's the next section I want to do. The next section of the Superior Hiking Trail, and definitely think next time I come out here, I want to start kind of near where that Spruce Creek campsite is. You know, just outside of Cascade River State Park, and kind of go north from there. Kind of heard good things about that area in the past, and yesterday I stopped to talk to some other backpackers, and the one guy was saying that's his favorite part, actually. So I think I'll probably do that section next. maybe next fall. Maybe that'll be my routine for a fall backpack trip to come up here. Kind of what it's been well now this year and last year, so why not continue that, right? Anyway, so I'm probably about, I don't know, less than 2 miles away from the car, so pretty much the trip's over. So I appreciate everybody who stick around with me to watch till the end, and we'll see you later. Alright, we're doing the post-hike meal at Timber Coffee Company in Silver Bay. I got the breakfast sandwich on a biscuit. Looks delicious. Got my sandwich. Got my coffee. Now I suppose it's time to go home.